Once again, thank you again for being here. I know you're a busy man with a lot of awesome projects. Speaking of Ultra Black, I think it's going to be like super super cool getting to see like everything on Instagram and all that. Oh my
Oh yeah.
god! And it's like it feels like such a long time since I've seen you. And I think we are talking about it. How much? How long ago was it?
I, I believe the last time I saw you was 3 years ago at
Yeah,
the Phoenix Comic Con, like
that's right. And you went to
network gathering. Yeah,
yeah, and you went to my event.
I
And
flew
we
down
sang
both.
MCR together.
I was inebriated and I did MCR karaoke. I believe there's
Yeah.
a YouTube video you linked me.
Yes, you saved me because I was so nervous. I had no voice, and then you like took over the vocals for me. So it was like, oh, so good.
My
They,
Chemical Romance, man. That's
it's
some
good
shit.
stuff,
That's some good
right?
shit.
All right, so let's get into this. Could you take a moment to introduce yourself, who you are, and what your brand is?
Oh, well, my name is Joshua Green. I go by Lvciferx on all my social media across the board.
Yeah.
Instead of a U, it's a V. It's an old timey thing. Um, and I'm a illustrator out of the Pacific Northwest, Portland, Oregon, to be specific. I love just like gory, detailed, fun, nonsensical drawings and sequential narrative. Just like I just love doing fun stuff,
Yeah.
and I hope that my stuff is enjoyable to the point where other people love it so much that I can continue doing it, you
Yeah. Oh, and they do for sure. Like years and years when I met you, you were already like thriving. So it's good to see you like continue to grow and do a whole bunch of awesome projects and everything. I miss that you're no longer in Tucson, Arizona, but you know what? I hope you're thriving where you are and everything.
Portland is honestly amazing, man.
Yeah.
I love living out here. It's been a little odd just as of late with the pandemic.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But it's still a lot of fun. I'm still discovering a lot. I'm enjoying it a great deal. And the amount of like just food options just with being vegan, everything is so accessible and so much easier, you know.
Yeah. That's amazing. Everything I hear about Portland seems so like wonderful and super cool, even down
Mhm.
to the weather. Like, especially that stark difference between Arizona, how it's like dry and like there's summer and not slightly less summer, and then in Portland there's actual weather, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean that week of monsoons is great
Yeah.
and all, and I miss giant haboobs, but
Right? Exactly. Ah, man, living in Arizona is wild. And then yeah, so I know and love you and all the things you've done, but could you take a moment to explain your origin story, how you became an artist, whether it was someone who actually taught you like art, or if you just picked up a pencil, being like, I really enjoy doing this, and I have a passion for it.
I mean I feel like it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I was just like a kid. I think we lived in like Italy. My dad was Air Force,
Oh
and
wow.
the
Yeah.
the way school works was a little bit more like open and free form. So apparently, I would just get up and go and just draw, and that would be
Yeah.
what I would do for like half the fucking day. And my parents were just really good and nurtured that. And
Yeah.
as much as it was me in my room drawing like Dragon Ball Z characters, like mimicking Toriyama as best as I could,
Yeah.
like it was also going to school and learning some things. But I got lucky that a local publisher in Tucson wanted me to do a comic, and that kind of got me paired with a writer, and him and I came up with like a book, and I had a graphic novel that come out,
Yeah.
and that was a lot of fun. But lately, I've just been working mainly doing like pinups, comic book covers, like band logos, T-shirt designs,
Yeah.
album covers, and I'm looking forward to get back into like telling stories with a sequential narrative, just getting back into doing comic books, and that's going to be
Yeah.
my like main focus pushing moving forward.
That's amazing. Do you have any details on any sort of like hints about what you might be working on or what you want to work on?
Well, right there's like a big story that I feel like every artist has like a big story that they
Yeah.
want to work on, a story that they want to tell. And like right now, there's one that's been my main focus, especially with everything that's gone on within the last year.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
It's been something that's been something I've been working on developing called Coffin Birth,
Yeah.
which if you could think about it, it's like hyper violent Sailor Moon meets Terminator kind of thing.
I'm down for that.
And I'm getting bits and pieces and putting that together, and it's actually especially with like Christmas, I had said I'm gonna focus on this. I'm gonna put a lot of effort into it, and
Yeah.
luckily, it's made a lot of strides. But this year, at least, you're gonna see like some just shorts from me.
Hmm.
like Christopher Ness, who goes by like the Loch Ness Lives on
Yeah.
Instagram. He's one of the like my favorite artists. One of the He absolutely kills it. Has two kids and he's put out like 5 or 6 comic books within the last 2 or 3
Damn.
years. Yeah, like
Hashtag
this
goals.
man puts in work and I love that. But he wrote a script for a Street Shark one shot that we're gonna do.
Street Shark,
I'm
amazing.
gonna bring as much gore and just like brutal gruesomeness as I can do
Yeah.
it. And then I have like a few horror stories that have actually been already worked out. I'm hoping that you'll see some of those comics throughout the rest of the year, or at
Hmm.
least not collected next Halloween.
Yeah. Damn, that's super cool. Ah, I love it. I feel like there's a term that my friend started calling people called hyper creative. You know, that like
Mm-hmm.
they just have a passion. Like there are people who are creative and occasionally will create, but there are people that just like eat, sleep, and breathe creativity, where they just need to work on stuff. And I feel like that embodies you, and that's probably why we're friends, because that like I feel like I'm on that same page.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's like
I was gonna say with you definitely like just it's crazy having met you at
yeah,
DevCon in that weird little college meeting room so many years ago,
yeah,
and just like okay, here's this dude, but it's like here is this dare I say movement that he's snowballed and it's steamrolling behind
yeah.
him. I love that. I love getting
Oh, thank
notifications,
you.
seeing whenever you're on, and just
Yeah.
like tuning in, and it's like that charisma, that charm. It's amazing.
We're trying, which I really appreciate, because if you guys don't know, Joshua and I met at DevCon, as he just said. I think it was like in what, 14 or 15 or something like that, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, over like anime, of course, and like just talking and discussing all this kind of stuff. And we immediately were like, "You're really cool. We should be friends." And it just grew from there. Because I think after that we met up at like Phoenix Fan Fest. The
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then it just was like super cool, all good vibes, nothing but support. And it's like it's wonderful to meet not only a good person, like super good people, but also a hyper creative, and just be able to support one another in all of our endeavors. So it's like it's really cool. It feels like an anime, like two people like doing their thing and then meeting back up, being like, you know, so it's amazing.
Every now and then you get that arc where we come back into each other's lives, and it's just like, oh
Exactly.
shit, what have you been up to? And you got this crazy story. I like that. I like the way that was that
Right?
comparison.
So I'm a little bit off the tracks, but I'll just say this one little
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
and then we'll go back on the tracks. But our that arc may be coming up, because I've decided that I'm going to actually start working on my own tabletop RPG to make my own sort of Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, so
Yes.
I'm going to work with some artists to do some art. So like I want Lvciferx involved in that project. So to be like so good.
Sword and sorcery is something I love very much. I
Yeah.
would very much like to dip my toes in that pool, fine sir.
Hey, good. All right, I'll connect with you afterwards. All right,
You
cool.
heard it here first. You heard it here first, folks.
Right? Confirmed. Now put you on the spot. So, okay, back on tracks. As a content creator, we can often find ourselves working like beyond our limits and ultimately
Mhm.
burning out, especially as hyper creatives, because we just want to like get up, go, 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 go. And if we take any sort of, a relaxation, we just feel guilt. At least a lot of us do. Not
Yeah,
saying like,
yeah.
all of us, but what is your own sort of self care techniques to ensure that your mental health is like sorted and cared for?
Um, I mean, and what's crazy is that's something that is like constant
Yeah.
for me. Something I'm consistently having to acknowledge, just because there's the one side, like you said, where you're running on all cylinders. You're either pumping at work, or you're getting like I don't I guess pre-production stuff like sorted out, like
Yeah.
sorting out like story ideas, elements, and putting together to make that initial step into actually like drawing the comic easier. Or it's like I got a tub of ice cream and I'm sitting down and I'm watching anime,
Right?
because it's like that's that cool down.
Yeah.
And trying to not be so hard on myself about the cool downs,
Hmm.
trying not to be so tough on myself about taking that time for myself, because again, as much as I may preach like you are your number one priority, you need to take care of yourself before you
Yeah.
take care of anything else. It's hard to actually do that sometimes,
Hmm.
or it's hard to not be tough on yourself and think that you could be doing something
Yeah.
at that very moment. But just remembering that I am important and that it's okay to take that time. Like, and
Yeah.
I'm fortunate that I have like a partner who will see that and be like, "Yo,
Hmm.
it's okay. Like I see that struggle right now. Don't worry about it. Just
Yeah.
enjoy Gantz, enjoy the rocky road, and just keep going. It's all right. So it works. It works that way for me personally. It's just reminding myself, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing with me and Alexia. Alexia, who is my fiance, she will be hardcore with it, being like, "Give me your phone. You're gonna go into the room
Yeah,
and you're gonna meditate, or you're gonna
yeah,
like, lay down." And I'm like, "I don't want to," and then I'll do it, and I'll be like, "That was great." So it's like it's a good to have partners who like they have that amount of love and that affection for you to know that they need to be hard for
yeah.
the greater good, because that's true when
Hmm.
and especially if we do get our way, I feel like at least for me, if I get my way and I choose to like work until 2 a.m. and then get up at 5 a.m. and do that thing, there's only like maybe 2 days I can do that before I just burn out and have a breakdown and
Yeah,
just like, and then
yeah.
I can't work for like 4 days, because I'm just so burnt out. But if I, if we implement those self care, then it goes a lot longer. So it's very interesting. Yeah. So I'm glad that you have a partner to be
It
able to help you.
that is something I'm extremely fortunate for, grateful for. It's something
Yeah.
that is not taken for granted by any means. Because again, a lot of people don't even necessarily have that.
Hmm.
And again, just even for myself, it's hard holding myself accountable when it comes to either like, yo, you need to push and get this done, or hey, like
Yeah.
you might want to back up a little bit. You're driving yourself into the ground. It's hard
Hmm.
to recognize that. So having somebody else is great.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, okay, perfect. So, uh, I have known that you have accomplished so much in your career as an artist and like a creator and everything like that. And there's been a lot of victories, a lot of W's to that you can like hold up and be so proud of. But I want to talk for a moment about the L's. Now,
Hmm.
and the very first person I interviewed was named Eliana Murillo, a brilliant woman, and she had said that L's no longer stand for losses; they stand for lessons because
Hmm.
that's what happens when L's occur. We learn from them. So, what, in your opinion, was one of the biggest L's of your career that you, whether it be something like I definitely messed up in this, that was my bad, or if it was something where like I did everything right and I still failed, and how did you, what happened and how did you learn from it?
Well, the crazy thing, I don't think there's ever like I did everything right.
Yeah,
There's you did everything that you learned up until that point,
yeah,
and like there was maybe something that you had missed, or it could have just been like something on the client's end where it's just like they thought you were right for it, and it's like come to find out they were going somewhere else.
yeah,
And having those realizations, I think, like you said, you stop looking at it, or as that individual had said, you stop looking at it as a loss, and it's more framed as a lesson and something to learn from. And for me personally, there's been that a couple of times when it came to time management and being able to look at what you need to get done, what you have on your table, and being able to pace yourself in a way to where you not only get everything done, but you're communicative of that.
yeah.
And so there was one time specifically where I got this commission, and this was a long time ago actually. But I still think about it, like it still bothers me, and it's still something that I'm like, crap. One of those things you just like wake up at 2 in the morning and you're just like, remember that time
Right,
7 years
exactly.
ago? But I had committed to doing a commission that was outside of my wheel work
Mhm.
because it wasn't necessarily something that I had like wanted to do per
Yeah.
se. It was like it was being worked on, but it was like always on the back burner. Like
Mm,
something new would come in and be like, hey, I need to finish this, and be like, hey, let me no, I'll get to that.
yeah.
And so it just kept getting pushed back and pushed back, and then not having the immediate availability to say something, I'd been called out on it.
Mhm.
And it's like I'm glad somebody had said something, and it's just like, hey, like you can't do this, you can't say that you want to do this and not, and if you have that commitment to yourself, that's great, but
Yeah.
not have that commitment to the people that are wanting to, to not only see you succeed,
Mm, mhm.
but to also, if they asked for something, you said you could do it, do it. Don't not
Yeah.
follow through. So
Yeah.
that for me personally, that was the biggest thing, and that's something that I still like. Anytime I take something on, it's like, okay, I need to have this checklist of like communication, responsibility,
Yeah.
accountability, all of that.
Yeah, and that's a big thing because as content creators, like a lot of people don't teach you, how to do anything. You have to learn from it, and usually the bad experiences are
Yeah,
the ones where you learn the most. Remember, like, oh, okay, now I get it. That like for the future, I have to do all these things, but they can be hard when they happen like that. And I'm sure, like, for me at least, I tend to my eyes are bigger than my stomach in a lot of ways. Of
Yeah,
like I can do all of this totally, you know, and then the harsh reality strikes. So it's like, damn. So yeah, it's very true. And
very fair, very fair.
yeah, and then pivoting on the other end of the spectrum, let's talk about your W's. So,
Okay.
what is one of the accomplishments that you take the most pride in? Now, granted, it could be some like major award that you've won, or it could be something smaller in the beginning that you were like, I really struggled at this part, but finally I got over it, and that's helped me tremendously and all that.
Well, like there's stuff where it's like this is cool, and it's like I feel like as a creator, you are aware of other creators around you, so
Yeah,
you'll do something, and it'll be an accomplishment in and of itself, and like people on the outside or even other people within the community may look at that and be like, hey man, that's awesome, that's sick that had happened for
yeah,
you, and people will take it as humility, but it's just like I'll see an accomplishment, I'll be like, well, I know so and so just got this done,
yeah.
and this is way cooler than, and so it's just like I
Like
always
comparing.
downplay that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it at least for me personally, it's hard not to, and that comes with its own issues.
Yeah,
But something that like for me personally, the very first time that I was able to like get that graphic novel printed almost 9 years ago now,
yeah,
almost a decade ago now, and seeing like 90 pages of consistent artwork from myself, like
yeah,
that was huge. That moment I was like, I can do this. And then from there, doing it on my own, I put out this short anthology series called Waiting Nightmares,
yeah,
and being able to like bring in different creators, put different stories and different art together, and kind of do that all in house and work on that myself, with help from others, um, was like, oh shit, like now this DIY kind of portion, like it's
yeah,
like the Xbox like or PlayStation Network like accomplishments, those trophies,
yeah,
like seeing 90 pages, putting out your own book on your own, like completely
yeah.
DIY. And then like just recently, I'd always tried one of those what's it called, Inktober things where it's like you draw something
Yeah,
every
yeah,
day, and that is that that consistency where it's like I'm drawing something every day that I want to post was hard enough.
yeah.
So with Ultra Black, sitting down and being like, I'm going to do all this beforehand. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to work on this between pinups. I'm going to work on this between commissions,
Oh
and
wow,
having it
yeah,
all ready by the time February even started.
yeah,
And so that was, it's like, yeah, I have like officially licensed Stranger Things artwork. Like I
yeah.
have an officially licensed piece coming out in a pinup book that I can't say anything about right now, but it
Yeah.
has been like a check mark on my like life goals thing.
Shh.
Um,
We
like
love to see
these
it.
these are cool things. These
Yeah.
are things where it's like, yeah, but it's like I'm more personally proud about like I got ADHD, man. Like getting anything done is
Same.
just super exciting to me.
Yeah.
So getting this stuff that most, I'm sure other artists are like, oh, Inktober, that's something I've done 2 or 3 times, and then it's like, well, screw you, pal.
Yeah. Right.
I got 28 drawings done. I'm happy. I like that.
Exactly.
That's those personal things for me. Those
Yeah.
PRs are the things that I love.
Yeah, because like everyone's journey, and just like I said before, with content creators, we can only like gain this wisdom through hard-earned battles, through ourselves
Hmm.
with ourselves, where it's like, and comparing is something that everyone does, and I feel like as like POC content creators, it's like double damage for us because a lot of times we'll see our like fairer skinned, like peers just like
Hmm.
accelerate or get offers and like do all this kind of stuff, and a lot of times it's just like, well, I mean, what are they doing differently that I'm doing? And it's hard,
Yeah,
yeah, it's hard not to like get drown in all that kind of stuff. But thankfully, everyone has their own journey in life, and if you don't get opportunities, it's not. It might just because for whatever reason there's something better coming down the line for you. That's at least
absolutely.
the mentality that I subscribe to, and I found that it works because because there's a lot of up and downs in this like journey of content creation, and thankfully
Hmm.
there's a lot of hills for just as many valleys. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Hills for just as man. That is some poetic stuff, man. Damn,
Oh, okay. So let's talk about Ultra Black. So pitch it to
what's
us.
good?
What
What's
is
up?
it? Let us know about all the details, and yeah.
So too often, black contributions to either like established subcultures or burgeoning subcultures are just completely looked over.
Yeah.
And it's really odd that that's something that you have to fight to find. I
Yeah.
feel like there's always some new like biopic that's coming out that's highlighting some Caucasian like startup grassroots to big business success.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're always either hearing about that like literally in news outlets, media, or there's like some, like I said, some movie coming out that's highlighting some part of that.
Yeah.
And on the opposite side of the spectrum, and it's sad that this is something that you even think about, like you don't see that for POCs. You don't
Mm-hmm.
see a lot of the like, hey, this is this cool moment in history, and it just happened to involve like a person of color or a
Yeah.
marginalized group. And so with Black History Month every single year, and I've seen artists even contribute to this, which is cool. Like this is by no means like saying this is a poor thing that needs to change or that we need to reassess, but
Yeah.
it's always like the same Martin Luther King Jr. quote, or like
Mm-hmm.
a drawing of MLK or Malcolm X, or some bit about Stokely Carmichael, or some bit about Maya
Yeah.
Angelou. And it's like, yes, these people are important. Yes, these people have contributed to the greater dialogue, and where we are now, we wouldn't be here, without that.
Mm-hmm.
For me personally, I would just like to see contemporaries. I want to
Yeah.
see Black creatives making history now. And the reason being is because growing up, like I had my dad, who's Black man, Chicago, like from Kankakee, Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know where the fuck Kankakee, Illinois is, look that shit up. And this man grew up the way he grew up, had the experiences he had, and like still was the person that introduced me to like White Zombie and fucking
Yeah.
Crystal Method. Like this is the same dude that's like had this upbringing that I feel like you always get that like Black pain story,
Yeah.
and you always hear about it, but his interests, and this is just coming from like a like a perspective other than my own. His
Yeah.
interests were not what you would normally consider like typical Black guys.
Yeah.
And growing up with that, it's always like, oh, this is just normal. So it's like, yeah, shit, I watch Alien and I run home every day and fucking I sit through Reboot until
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z came
Yep.
on, and I'd go to school and talking about that stuff, and kids would just look at, like, Black kids would just look at you even living on base, being like,
Mm-hmm.
what the hell is this white people shit like you're watching?
Yep.
And growing up with that, being told that my interests, although my father's interests, were not normal for who we are, who we're
Yeah.
supposed to be as interpreted by other people, kind of sucked. And I didn't see Black creatives in these same spaces
Yeah.
either. And this is obviously my very limited perspective. Like the band Suffocation, I love that band. Terrence Hobbs had been a part of that band for a minute.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know that he was Black. Like, and that was just on like my limited ability to like surf the web and
Yeah.
whatnot back then. But it's like that wasn't something that was really in your face. And I think the first time for me it hit me was like seeing like one of the Kill Switch Engage videos after they got Howard Jones,
Yeah.
and be like, holy shit, there's a Black guy, dude, that looks like me doing this. And it's like getting older and seeing all of this.
Yeah.
It was awesome, but it's like I wish it would have been something I had available to me sooner.
Mm-hmm.
So Ultra Black is that, like, I want to put that out there. I want you,
Yeah.
if you're on Instagram, if you're on Twitter, if you're on Facebook, and you happen to come across it and you're in that same position I was, where it's like, holy shit, here I am, this Black kid that's, listening to like KMFDM or something like that. And
Yeah.
you're out there and you feel like there's nobody else that looks like you that does that. It's like, I
Mhm.
want you to see this and be like, oh wow, there is somebody that looks like me that's into heavier music, or is into like comic books, or is into anime, and not feel alone.
Yeah.
Like I don't want anybody to ever feel like that. So I want to contribute to making that less of a situation young people or other Black people find themselves in.
Yeah, and that resonates with me a lot because, like, I'm Mexican American, I'm Chicano, and growing up, and I'm fourth generation as well. Meaning, so I don't speak Spanish. I know like some Spanish enough to like understand generally what's going on, but not enough to do anything like real with it. So obviously, growing up in Arizona, with like Toonami, G Gundam, Ronin Kenshin, Dragon Ball Z, all these different things that were beautiful and wonderful and amazing. And then going to school, it was the same thing, not Mexican enough for the Mexicans, not, white enough for the sort of white kids and all that kind of stuff. So in a very weird sort of aspect. And that hits hard for me because that's one of the reasons I made the Geek Life, was because like didn't see that representation, wanted to bring that to it. and like so I love everything about what you're doing with Ultra Black and why you're doing it and everything like that. Would do you think this will be an annual thing, or do you feel like you're accomplishing what you set out to accomplish, and you're going to move on to some other like project that will also try to move the needle forward in some way, shape, or form?
And it's honestly something I haven't really thought about. It was just
Yeah.
like, let's get this done, let's get this out, let's see if that idea resonates with other people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of people are they don't know about Stokely Carmichael, so it's like
Hmm.
cool if that quote gets you into a bit of history that you may not have known about. Like something like that always being an option, always being around is awesome.
Yeah.
But I maybe not necessarily in the same format,
Yeah.
but I do want to put something out specifically for Black History Month that's pushing that interest in the now, not the
Yeah.
interest in like these figures of the past. Because a lot of times too, it's like I don't know if there's an equivalent to this outside of Black culture, but
Mhm.
it's like you always get those people, those individuals that try to downplay something and use like an MLK quote or something like that. And it's like, dude, shut up! Like,
Yeah.
don't do that. So I want to be contributing like something more contemporary to the conversation as a means of also putting like the people that are featured in a position of accessibility.
Yeah.
I it would have been nice growing up if I had somebody like my homie Aaron who I could just message on Instagram or text and say like, hey, like what's up, and just talk about like Watanabe's contributions to anime and how that's been affected by Black culture, or just
Yeah.
be able to hit up like another friend and talk about these things that interest us but aren't necessarily unique to our interests,
Yeah.
or unique to our I should say unique to our culture in that respect.
Yeah, it's so good. I love that because it's true. Because there's a quote, and it kind of goes like, "We never ever get the roses until we're actually dead or passed away," and
Mm-hmm.
it means so much like more for artists as well. Because my dad, who's a like renowned artist and everything, he
Yeah,
said that like
yeah.
right now people will walk by my paintings and be like, "Oh, it's okay," but the moment I die, everything skyrockets to like 10 times
Mm-hmm.
what they were charging right now, because no one appreciates the artist until they can't contribute any more work or whatever. And that's so true in a lot of ways for all these different people who are doing so much for our community. And so that's awesome that you're doing Ultra Black. One thing, how can we further support Ultra Black and all of these like of what you've done so far with this project?
Honestly, since Ultra Black is about making members of a subculture more accessible to
Yeah.
individuals either like entering into that subculture or wanting to learn more about like how that like the startup of that
Uh-huh.
subculture, you can support it by like every day when I post somebody, going and following that person,
Yeah.
like whatever they got going on, supporting that aspect of their business, like literally going to a few days back, clicking on Rachel's profile,
Yeah.
following Rachel on Instagram, going to her Twitch, subscribing to her Twitch, clicking on Nikki's profile, going to their page, supporting their OnlyFans, supporting their
Yeah.
photography, whatever it may be. Like these are people that are active not only within the Black community, but they're also active within subcultures that have roots dating back to early Black individuals'
Yeah.
involvement. And these are people that you can talk to and just learn more about photography or learn more about guitars or Brazilian jiu-jitsu, whatever it may be. And that's how you can support it. I just got the proof back for, we're going to be putting out a zine, which will be
Oh
like
wow. Yeah.
34 pages of like all of the Ultra Black artwork,
Yeah.
the contact information for each individual that's actually been featured, so you can go find out what they're about. And then also there's going to be 4 or 5 pages of just like a small interview with each of the,
Each
I
creator.
think we
Yeah.
got about 20 of the 20 of the creators, and we were able to ask them some questions that, I don't know, I'm hoping like when you read it, you see like if you have had that experience, you can see that, and you can see that you're not alone,
Yeah.
and that there are people you can reach out to, and hopefully have that conversation and feel a little bit more just accepting of yourself, or feeling a little bit easier being
Yeah.
yourself.
Dang, that's so good. And then, as an artist, what key passions do you feel like helped you and your creativity? Like, what do you draw from? Like, you mentioned Dragon Ball Z before,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
can see it sometimes in your artwork a little bit, but it's so diverse and unique. Where do you draw your inspirations from?
And that was that's something that I've actually, because I love Toriyama.
Yeah.
I especially love like Toriyama as influenced by like the homie that did Naruto or the homie that did One
Yeah.
Piece, because they were influenced by his work, and he then turned around and changed his style up. And you can pick out those One Piece or those Naruto influences in Toriyama's newer Dragon Ball
Yeah.
drawings. And I love that idea that you're forever changing, you're not limited by. So it's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, Toriyama's like a big influence for me personally. And I'm happy that some of that comes through, but it's like, as of lately, and he's always been this way, but Ultimo with Katsura Ultimo with Akira Domu,
Yeah.
Legend of the Mother Sarah, like that's been a big thing for me. Just looking at how film and aspects of film like creep their way into comic books and sequential narrative, and how that's being told has been something that I've been really interested in. Arthur Adams, who's work with like DC and Marvel, is obviously huge, but
Yeah.
I'm still pushing to find that creative balance between like uber detailed like Jeff Darrow
Yeah.
and having fun with that, and then not getting burnt out at the same exact time, because I
Yeah.
want to have, you know, that detail, that intensity that you see with those creators, but I also don't want to kill my love for
Right.
drawing at the same
But
exact
then
time.
deadlines. Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. Oh gosh, that's so cool, and you can kind of see that as well with all of your artwork. Speaking of Akira, nice shirt. Good choice. Good choice.
Bro, Damien, heavy black. If you don't know him, follow my boy. He's a good dude.
Nice. And then okay, perfect. And then so let's say you could go back in time to a very young Joshua Green who's like trying
Mm-hmm.
his hardest at art, or like even maybe just in his teens, or even the young, early 20s or anything like that, where you're just getting into everything. What piece of advice would you give to Joshua Green, the young Joshua Green, that might make his journey a little bit easier?
That opportunity that you had to buy in GME, like
Right?
right out of high school, you should have taken it. You should have taken it. There's going to be this thing that comes up that
Wall
you're going
Street
to try to
bets.
explain.
Yeah, exactly.
No, more or less just not being so hard on myself. Not like seeking out help for mental health shit a lot
Yeah.
earlier on than when it did, because I feel like that initial hurdle and that block is what had just kind of turned into, you know, situation after situation being handled in a certain manner, and lose it because I didn't draw for a long time.
Yeah.
So going back and just telling myself that it's like these things are okay, like these things are things that you can move on from,
Hmm.
and art is a worthwhile venture, you know, despite whatever everybody else is telling you, or even what
Yeah.
you're telling yourself in your own head. Just being, you know, just being okay with who you are, and plugging on, it's all right. That would be nice. That would be nice if I had the opportunity. But we live in now. There's no regrets.
Exactly.
We you know, we live in the now.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like it's really, that's a really genuine answer, and I appreciate it because I feel like a lot of us can resonate with that. I know myself, specifically, and I feel like there's a lot of things why we're friends, because the same things just keep coming up. But it's so true that for my personal experience, there's been a lot of time that I've struggled with mental health for a lot of like weird reasons. Even though everyone around me might be like, "You're amazing, you're super cool, you're awesome,"
Yeah.
and just if you don't believe it yourself, it's just you poison the well, and everything you do
Mm-hmm.
just doesn't feel good, and all that kind of stuff. So like, I didn't deal with it until I met Alexia, and Alexia was like, "You need therapy. Like
Yeah.
you dead ass need therapy." And I'm like, "I can't. Like I'm a brown man. We're supposed to be strong. We're supposed to be silent. We're supposed to shoulder the world. You know."
That's the hard thing, is coming to that exception,
Mm-hmm.
or coming to that, like accepting that idea,
Yeah.
because it's an idea that we've probably heard of for
Yeah.
some time
From
now. It's
multiple
something
generations
that
of.
we.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So it's oh my god, it's so wild that like, so finally we had hard talks, and she's like, you're either gonna seek mental, health or help through therapy, or this relationship is going to be in question, because I can't keep going through these
Yeah.
cycles of like you feeling good and being amazing, and all of a sudden you have depressive episodes where you're having mental breakdowns, and you just shatter everything. Like you
Yeah.
need to you get help because you're bleeding on everyone else. And then I was like,
Hmm.
oh shit. So finally, I did go to therapy, and I was like intimidated by it. I didn't believe in it. And then the guy, like 70-year-old Jewish dude, was like, all right, so let's talk about this. And it worked. It helped like tremendously, just being able to talk to a professional about
Yeah.
like my
Yeah.
situations and like bringing stuff up. Like, oh my God, one of the major things was that when I was explaining to him my life story and everything that was going through, he's like, "You sound like a self-made man. Like you paid for your college, you have your degree, you paid for your car, you walked to college. You didn't need anyone else's help. You did it all yourself. Like the geek life was not because of your parents; it was because of your own hard work and all of your accomplishments.
Yeah.
Like you are worthwhile. Like how do you not? How do you question that?" And I was like, "Oh shit." So like that, I don't know what. It's just a weird thing. And the moment that it's like that. Have you seen Avatar: The Last Airbender? No. Okay.
I laugh because I've gotten so much guff
Flack for it?
for
Okay,
not
okay.
watching that.
No, you're
Yeah.
good. You're good. It's amazing. I think you'll absolutely resonate with it and
Okay.
you'll love it. But there's a
Okay.
part in that show where he's trying to unlock the chakras for him, and he can't do it
Hmm.
because he still has attachment to certain things or whatever. And then he feels like if he lets go of that attachment, his life will get worse. The whole world will explode and all that kind of stuff. But ultimately, he decides to like let go, and then everything got better because of it. Like everything was able to flow. All the things that were gunking up was
Hmm.
because of his just iron grasp on everything. So that's how I felt. And then the moment that I got that help, everything just worked out. Like all the toxic people that were in my life just melted, just gone. And
Hmm.
like I just now we're in better places. So it's like I resonate with what you said so much because it's true. Like, and we kind of kick ourselves because like how much else could we could have done if had we just admitted that we needed help and got that help? It's just like ah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's so many things I look back on, and that is the benefit of hindsight. That is the benefit of seeking
Yes.
like assistance from
Yeah.
a professional in that respect. Because yeah, it's exactly like I was the reason this situation played out the way it did. I pushed this away. I
Yeah.
did this, and having that acceptance and that accountability, and being fortunate enough to have people that either call you out or people that sit there, notice what's going on with you personally,
Yeah.
and help you through it, versus just kind of like telling you this thing is happening,
Yeah.
and then you're just kind of like, okay, well, I know it's happening, but I still don't know how to do anything about it, so you're just kind of stuck in this rut.
Yes.
um,
Yeah.
Genuinely grateful, genuinely appreciative for those opportunities, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh. All right, so where can we find you online, and how can we help support you in your endeavors? Do you have a Patreon and OnlyFans and any of those things?
Bro, honestly, if the second I get the like the center mass of my body in line, it's over. I'm gonna be wearing crop tops. I'm gonna look good.
There you go. Perfect. You could probably do it
Um,
right now. Dad bods are a thing, so you could just be like,
Honestly,
"Oh,
that's
yeah,
what I keep hearing it. It's like, no, you can do it. I'm like, no, let me come to it. I'll come to it. But my Instagram, I'm actually I'm working on that social media push right now.
yes,
I knew it was always a big thing, but it was always like, because it seems so stressful. It seems so much, but
yeah,
definitely my Instagram, Lvciferx, just Lvciferx,
mhm,
um, is going to be where you'll find all of my artwork. I may you may hear about like just like daily life shenanigans and stuff, but
yeah,
that's where you're going to see all the artwork. Going to have a bunch of cool art coming up after Ultra Black is done. You're going to be able to get Ultra Black as like a literal 34, 35 page
yeah,
or 36 page zine. March 1st, I believe those orders are going to go up. It's going to be limited to 28 copies. I think they're going to be like $20 with shipping or something like that. It comes with like a sketch, which is another, like, I'm always trying to make it, you're getting a product, but you're getting something that's going to be for you and for you alone. Because like that sketch, nobody else is getting that sketch. That sketch was for you.
yeah,
Um, but also, I've been working with Portland Mutual Aid Network for the last 6 or 7 months now. Every week we go out, we listen, and we engage our houseless community, our friends and family in downtown Portland,
yeah,
and we listen to see what they need. We listen to see what would help make their day to day easier, and we try to order on a weekly basis. Those things that they had asked for. So the next time that we see them, we have something that can make their day, their week a little bit easier.
yeah,
So any any and all work that we do is all essentially crowdfunded. It's all
Mhm.
donation based. So if there's always something on my profile that links back to that.
Yeah.
Any assistance with that makes our day to day and therefore our friends' day to day a lot easier when it comes to our friends and family downtown. But that's about it. I got hopefully fingers crossed I'll be able to talk about some cool work that I have kind of up here as soon as just waiting on fucking. It's like there's like it's like there's like the publisher and then like the license
Yeah.
holder, and it's like just there's so many things where I'm like, this cool thing is happening. I don't
Like,
want to
oh
talk about
wait,
it. I'm just like,
NDA. Yeah.
nope, can't. Which is like crazy to even think
Which,
about. Like I was
yeah.
like 9 years old drawing Godzilla, and now I'm 31 drawing something else equally as fucking cool, and I can't fucking even say anything about it.
Hey, that's good stuff. That means you got projects in the
Yeah,
works and important projects because like when people care about whether or not you speak about them, that's when it's like, oh shit, I made it. I'm
yeah.
here. Yeah, I'm doing it. So it's awesome. Do you have a Patreon, by the way?
I don't.
Okay.
Is that a
You
cool? You have one, right?
yes, yeah.
Is that cool? Like, how much
It
skin do you have to show?
none, honestly. It's there to
Okay.
support artists. So I highly recommend at least do a Ko-Fi or something like that where you can have people contribute. I don't want to tell you how to run your business, but I just my advice because like I would absolutely subscribe just to be able to help fund you. Like even if it's
Yeah.
$5, it's $5 times 12 months. So like
Mm-hmm.
and forever and ever and ever. So like I'm sure there's a lot of other people who would love to support you and your endeavors and artwork and all that kind of stuff. So please create something that we can throw money. Or if you have any products on your website or anything that will like put money in your pocket, like totally down because we need to
Okay.
we need to support you. We want brown and black people to have money, so like we want to like be able to put that in there. So yeah,
It's still February. You can hit the cash.
there you
app,
go. You get that cash
$sign
app. That's good.
for X.
Yeah, exactly. Take all my money. So it's good. All right,
Reparations.
exactly. Yes, perfect. We're here for it. All right, good. So now, have you ever seen any of my interviews?
I've even been a part of one or two of them.
Yes. Yeah.
Or are you referring to recently? Have you
Yeah,
changed it up?
these ones.
Oh, this season.
Exactly, yeah. And if you haven't, then
So what's up?
yes.
Tell me more.
At the very end of my interviews, I like to take a moment to just be genuine and be real with my guests and all that. So for this next moment, you cannot deny anything. You cannot reject any sentiments or anything like that. You just got to like take it and wholeheartedly do it. So, Joshua Green, aka Lvciferx, I want to thank you so much for being in my life because you have inspired me to great lengths. You have been such a positive beacon of hope and just like creativity and just hard work as I see you hustling day and night doing all these things, going from state to state doing all these projects and then surprising me at my own event. Like that meant the world to me. Like no joke. I thought no one was going to show up and here was my friend from another state coming to go and support and get up on stage and sing MCR, with me. So that was like, you are good people. You are a good, genuine, wholesome human being. You deserve all the success this world has to offer. It is my hope that in 2021 you are betting and investing in Joshua Green because he deserves all of everything this world like has to offer. Please put up Patreon. Please put up all these things because people want to support you and love you. And I want to thank you for being alive and being in this community and doing what you're doing for everyone because you are like, I hope you become the Hokage because you deserve it and you're amazing. And that's just all we got to say. So thank you.
Bro, don't even because what's crazy is it's without people. I'm keeping it cool. I'm keeping it level for you right now. It's without people like Ken Brown and drawing the comics, and without people like you, I would not be putting as much effort as I would be. Ken pushed me to do my first show, and you pushed me even like DevCon. DevCon was one thing, but you sitting there and be like, "This is awesome.
Yeah,
this is great." And you're cool. You need to show that personality more.
Yeah.
You need to show those influences more. And I got you, Ken. I got my sister in my head telling me it's like black people want to see themselves. Like and the fact that you've never shied away from not only what you want to do, like the fact that the Geek Life and your Twitch channel, it's like you've come this far, you've been this successful because you said, this is the idea I have, and these are the things that I've learned, and this is how I'm going to do it. And there have been, you and I both know there have been obstacles.
Yes,
and
Absolutely.
you have worked through, not steamrolled through, not
Yeah.
fucking just barreled past. You've worked through each individual thing, and you've come out on top so many different times.
Thank you.
I don't want you talking nice. I appreciate you a great deal, a great, because there wouldn't be me sitting handsome here with a fucking Dragon Ball Z wall scroll drawing and having people pay attention. There wouldn't
Yeah.
be that without you.
Please. It's it's good. I'm we'll agree that we're both wonderful in all our ways, and we're equals and all that kind of stuff. Because oh my god, I have a lot of respect for you, dude. Like I am nervous talking with you, even though I know you're my friend. You have my back. Like I have so much respect for you as an artist that I appreciate your time to be able to take time out of all your projects to be here. So
Thank you, man. Thank you, seriously.
of course, yeah. If you ever need any support, let me know because I've always got your back. Like I said, I'm definitely gonna reach out to you for the tabletop RPG project. I'm like thinking about,
Ooh,
yeah, because it's
I love stuff like that. I
yes,
one thing I can't talk about is I'm designing some more right now. Actually,
yeah,
I'm working with this trading card company to design. I did 30 for them in the past. I'm doing like 6 more for them now. This new
wow,
trading card game that's
yeah,
coming out. I love nerd shit. Like you're gonna like shit you would see my butt crack through a folding chair on.
yeah.
If that would happen, I love it. I love whatever
You're like,
game it is
oh
that they're
yes,
playing that you
yeah,
see the butt crack with. So I
oh
would
it's
love to do
amazing.
that with you, man. Absolutely.
Yeah, good. Okay, cool. So this has been amazing. Thank you again so much. Before we end it, is there anything else you'd like to pimp, to promote, to do, like hype anything, whether it be one of your projects, another creator, or anything like that?
I need everybody to hit up my homie Heaven Sent. Heaven Sent, the E in Sent is a V on Twitter. Their OnlyFans, it's up, it's running. They got a lot of great content. Pay this person money.
Yeah.
Also, if you can help with Portland Mutual Aid Network, again, we do go out on a weekly basis assisting the houseless community in here, downtown Portland, and making sure that they are as comfortable as they can be. It's kind of, with all the snow that's melting, it's really wet, and it's not as comfortable for them right now. So again, that's Portland Mutual Aid Network on Instagram, and our information and Venmo and everything is on there as well.
And then for Heaven Sent, what was it? One more time?
Like it's just Heaven Sent, but the E in Sent is a V.
Oh, it was a V. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Trying to
They like
get.
something just came up, and they're like
Ooh.
they're working, like their previous one got brought down, so they're working on bringing up this new one, and they're doing
Oh, this new like
really,
account.
they're
Okay.
like, it's like top 3% or something like that. They're killing it. They're absolutely killing
Damn, nice. All right, I put it on the Twitch chat, so that's good. Well,
it.
thank you again so much for everything you do for this community. Thank you for being here, tonight to speak your piece and tell us about all the wonderful things about you and all that. Everyone, please take a moment out of your day to go follow Lvciferx because he is amazing in everything that he does. And we will see you guys later. And thank you again, Joshua. I really appreciate you,
Thank you,
dude.
brother. Thank you. Thank you.
And we'll see you guys later. Bye.